Okay, this video is just going to be me solving some special triangles. Maybe after you see a lot of practice, you'll start to get the pattern down. So if you have a hard time getting the patterns, stop the video, watch what I do on a 45, 45, 30, 60, 90, whatever, till you get the pattern memorized. So to begin with, remember the relationship is in a 45, 45, the legs are the same, and the hypotenuse is the ratio that it's longer is a square root of 2. In the 30, 60, 90, we're going to call the hypotenuse the 2x side, the side opposite the 30, that's the shortest side, x, and then the side opposite the 60 is going to be x squared root of 3. So I'm going to use those ratios to figure out all of the sides, and I'm going to do them all in my head, or I might do a little bit of scratch work just to figure out, if I'm dividing radicals or whatever, but I'm not going to use a calculator. I'm just going to use the patterns to figure out all these sides. I'm not going to do the Pythagorean theorem. I'm just going to use these patterns. So this one, it's a 45, 45. It's x, x, x root 2. So that means these two sides are the same. And then I want to go to the hypotenuse, so it's longer. And how much longer is it? It's the square root of 2. So I'm going to multiply because I'm going to a longer side. I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to say this is 13 root 2. Over here, this is a 30, 60, 90, the one on the right. So this is a 30, 60, 90. So I've got to put in my ratio side. So this is the short side. Here's the hypotenuse. And this is the x root 3 side. Okay, I always want to find the shortest side in a 30, 60, 90. So I am going to go from the 2 root 3, and I want to go to the shortest side. Well, I'm going shorter, so that means I'm going to divide. What am I going to divide by? I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. That's the ratio that's different between those two sides. If you look, that's why I'm writing the pattern down. That's the difference between those two sides. It's the square root of 3. So I'm going to divide 2 root 3, and I'm going to divide that by root 3. So 2 root 3 divided by root 3. Okay, so those reduce, and you end up with 2. So the short side is 2. Now I want to go to the long side. Well, the long side, look again. What's the ratio here? It's x and 2x. So that means it's twice as long. So I take the 2 and I multiply it by 2, and I end up with 4. Okay, let's try it again. I'm just going to do a bunch of them. So this right here, another 30, 60, 90. This is the hypotenuse, so this is 2x, my short side here, and then x root 3. Okay, I always want to go to the shortest side first, so I am going to move here. So to do that, I'm going to have to divide. The side is shorter. I need to divide. Divide by what? Divide by 2. So that's 7. Then I'm going to move here to this side. Well, it looks like I'm going longer. Well, what's the ratio? How much longer? I'm going to multiply by root 3. So this is 7 root 3. Over here, 45, 45. This is x side, x root 2 side. Okay, so it looks like to me I want to get shorter. I'm going to go from here to here, and I want to be shorter. So what am I going to divide by? I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. So 8 divided by the square root of 2. Rationalize that, and you end up with 4 root 2. And these two sides are the same. Okay, again, 30, 60, 90. This is the x, the 2x, and the x root 3 side. Okay, if I'm going from 15 over to this side right here, it looks like that side's longer. So what operation? I'm going to multiply. What am I going to multiply by? I'm going to multiply by the square root of 3. So that's 15 square root of 3. Okay, I want to go to the hypotenuse. Well, it's longer, so I got to multiply. Multiply by what? Multiply by 2. So this is going to be 30. Okay, another 30, 60, 90. It's oriented different, but you still just have to put in your side so you know what you're talking about. This is the hypotenuse, so that's the 2x side. Short side's x, and this is the x root 3 side. Okay, so if I want to find the short side first, I'm going to go from 16 to a shorter side. So that means I'm going to divide. Divide by what? I'm going to divide by 2. So that's 8. Now I want to go from the short side to the square root of 3 side. Well, it's longer, so what am I going to multiply? I'm going to multiply by the square root of 3. 8 square root of 3. All right, down here, another 30, 60, 90. They just are oriented different. You just got to figure out what your ratio sides are. So here's the x side, 2x, x root 3. All right, I want to go from, I always want to find the short side in the 30, 60, 90, so I'm going to go here, which means I am getting smaller, so I need to divide. What do I need to divide by? I need to divide by root 3. So I come over here and I take the number and I divide by root 3. Well, if I do that, then I end up with 3. Okay, now I want to go to the hypotenuse. It's longer, so that means I need to multiply. Multiply by what? 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. All right, another 30, 60, 90. This is the x side, 2x side, and the x root 3 side. So we want to go to the short side first. So I'm going to go here to here. Make a decision. Are you multiplying or dividing? I'm dividing. What are you going to divide by? Well, I'm leaving the x root 3 side and going to x. So that means I'm going to divide by root 3. So 9 root 3 divided by root 3 is 9. So this side is 9. Now I want to go to the hypotenuse. It's longer, so I am going to multiply. Multiply by what? 2, because that side's twice as long. So here we go. That's 18. All right, last set right here. So this is a 45, 45. I think this is the last set. Maybe there's one more. So let's put in, this is the x side, x root 2. So you want to go from my hypotenuse to a leg. That means you are getting shorter. So I'm going to divide. What am I going to divide by? I'm leaving the x root 2 side and I'm going to the x side. So I'm going to divide by root 2. 9 root 2 divided by root 2. So this side is 9 and they're both the same. Okay, once again, I got 30, 60, 90 over here. I'm going to put my sides in. So this is an x. This is a 2x because it's the hypotenuse and x root 3 side. Okay, so if I'm going to start on the hypotenuse and I want to go to a shorter side, I need to divide. What do I need to divide by? 2. So this is 8. Now I'm going to go from the short side to the square root of 3 side. Well, that means I'm going to multiply because I'm getting longer. So that's 8 root 3. All right, down here, I've got another 30, 60, 90. And let's put our ratios in. So this is x. Hypotenuse is 2x. That's this one. And then x root 3 is over here. Okay, I am leaving the hypotenuse and I want to go to a short side. Well, what do I need to divide by? I need to divide by 2. Well, square root of 5 divided by 2 is just the square root of 5 divided by 2. I can't really do anything with that, leaving it in radical form. So that stays square root of 5 divided by 2. Okay, I want to go from the short side to the medium side. I need to multiply. I'm getting longer. What do I need to multiply it by? Well, the ratio is the square root of 3. I'm moving to the square root of 3 side. So I got to take square root of 5 divided by 2 and multiply it by square root of 3. Well, that's the square root of 15 over 2. So this side right here is the square root of 15 over 2. Okay, and then this side right here, this is a 45, 45, so we've got x, and x root 2. Okay, so I want to go to it doesn't matter which side I go to, they're the same, but I'm going shorter, so I need to divide. What do I need to divide by? I need to divide by the square root of 2. Well, if you take 10 and divide it by square root of 2, you'll have to rationalize that. And that turns out to be 5 square root of 2. So this side is 5 square root of 2, and this side is 5 square root of 2. Okay, looks like I've got one more set, and then we'll be done. Once again, 30, 60, 90. So here we go. I'm going to put in my ratios so I know what I'm supposed to multiply and divide by. Here's the x, 2x, x root 3. Always want to go to the shortest side first, so I'm going to go square root of 3 to here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to divide. I'm getting smaller. I'm going to divide. So what am I going to divide by? 2. Square root of 3 divided by 2 is just the square root of 3 divided by 2. So this side is the square root of 3 divided by 2. Okay, I want to go to the next side. Well, it looks like it's longer, so I'm going to have to multiply. Multiply by what? Well, this is the square root of 3 side, so I'm going to have to multiply it by the square root of 3. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3, so that's 3 over 2. So this is 3 over 2. Okay, let's see, over here, once again, I've got a 30, 60, 90, and so I'm going to put my ratios in. This is x, hypotenuse is the 2x side, and then the x root 3 side. So we've got x, 2x, and x root 3. Okay, so now I just have to make a decision, multiply or divide. Well, I'm getting bigger, so I'm going to multiply. What am I going to multiply? By 2, because I'm going to the 2x side. So 2 times the square root of 2 is 2 root 2. Over here, I want to come to this side. Well, it looks like it's longer, so I'm going to multiply. What am I multiplying by? I'm multiplying by the square root of 3. Well, square root of 2 times the square root of 3 is square root of 6. So this side is square root of 6. And then down here I've got a 45, 45. So once again, x side, x, x root 2. You're going smaller, going from the hypotenuse to a leg. So what am I going to do? I'm going to divide because I'm getting smaller. And what am I going to divide by? Root 2. So 20 divided by the square root of 2, rationalize that. And you end up with 10 root 2. So this side's 10 root 2, legs are the same, so this side is 10 root 2. Okay, last one, 30, 60, 90. Let's put our ratios in. This is the x, 2x, and x root 3 side. So notice it doesn't matter what I start with, what the number is right here that I'm starting with. I figure out what side I want to go to, and then I do the rule of either multiply or divide. It doesn't matter what the original number is, whether it has a square root in it or not. You don't use that to determine. It's just what side you're moving to. So here I'm going to go shorter. So if I'm going to go shorter, what am I going to do? I'm going to divide by 2. So I'm going to take the 2 square root of 3 and divide it by 2. Well, that'll just give me square root of 3. All right, I want to go to this next side. It's bigger, so that means I need to multiply. What do I need to multiply by? I need to multiply by the square root of 3. So square root, I'm going to take that side that I was just at, square root of 3 times the square root of 3, and that will give you 3. So that missing side is 3. Okay, hopefully that's enough that you can figure out those patterns. Just got to get it memorized. You just either multiply or divide. Multiply if you're getting bigger, divide if the side that you're moving to is smaller, and then just figure out what the ratio is. Just takes practice. You just got to keep practicing.